Moses is a central figure in the Bible, known for leading the people of Israel out of Egypt and receiving the Ten Commandments on Mount Sinai. But little is said about his sons, Gershom and Eleazar. Why are they not prominent in the biblical narrative? This often overlooked story reveals important lessons about God's purpose, humility, and the value of serving behind the scenes. The journey of Gershom and Eleazar begins during the time Moses lived in Midian, exiled after fleeing Egypt for killing an Egyptian. There he married Zipporah, the daughter of Jethro, and had 2 sons, Gershom, whose name means foreigner, and Eleazar, meaning God is my help. Their names reflect the faith and struggles that marked Moses' life. Although Gershom and Eleazar accompanied Moses during parts of his journey, their role in the events of the Exodus is not detailed. When Moses returned to Egypt to free the people, he took his family with him, but Zipporah and the children seem to have returned to Midian for a time, as suggested in Exodus 18. An intriguing episode involving Gershom occurs in Exodus 4, when Zipporah performs a circumcision on her son to save Moses from divine wrath. This event underscores the importance of obeying God's covenants, even for someone as chosen as Moses. It is a powerful reminder that obedience is not optional, but essential. Despite their connection to critical moments, Moses' sons did not take on leadership roles. This contrasts with the descendants of Aaron, who were chosen by God for the priesthood, taking on roles of great visibility and responsibility in Israelite worship. The difference is clear. Some were called to lead at the altar, others to serve in silence. The absence of Gershom and Eleazar in the main narrative reflects the Bible's intentional focus on Moses as the singular leader and Aaron as the priest. This separation of roles highlights that God's calling for each person is unique and not necessarily hereditary. You've noticed this, right? Have you noticed God's callings? Tell me in the comments if you have. Nevertheless, Gershom and Eleazar left a legacy. 1 Chronicles 23 mentions their descendants as part of the tribe of Levi, dedicated to the service of the tabernacle. Though they were not priests, they played essential roles in caring for and maintaining the sanctuary. Every task, no matter how small, carries eternal weight when done for the glory of God. The lineage of Gershom is represented by Shebuel, who held a leadership role among the Levites. Eleazar, through his son Rehabiah, had a numerous lineage, which is seen as a divine blessing, demonstrating God's faithfulness to his promise to multiply his people. No matter where you are today, God sees and honors your faithfulness. The story of Moses' sons reminds us that not everyone is called to prominence. Gershom and Eleazar lived in the shadows of great events, but their service was vital to the functioning of Israel's community. This lesson is especially relevant to those who feel their contribution is small or invisible. God turns simplicity into strength. God values a heart of obedience more than position or recognition. 1 Samuel 16:7 reminds us that the Lord looks at the heart, not at appearance or status. Gershom and Eleazar exemplify how faithful service holds eternal significance, even when it goes unnoticed. In a world that seeks applause, God values the unseen servants. Furthermore, their lives teach us that the impact of faithfulness can transcend generations. Their descendants continued to serve the Lord, helping to preserve worship and the unity of God's people. Have you ever considered that what you do today might echo into eternity? This story also highlights the importance of embracing the role God gives us. In a world that prizes visibility and success, Gershom and Eleazar show us that true greatness lies in fulfilling God's purpose, regardless of position. Do not underestimate the power of a life surrendered to God's will. Even in the shadows, their lives echo the promise of Romans 8:28. In all things, God works for the good of those who love him. Their story reinforces that every act of obedience and faith contributes to God's greater plan. Nothing is too small for him. Therefore, the apparent absence of Gershom and Eleazar in the biblical narrative does not diminish their value. They were an essential part of Israel's story, showing that God uses everyone, both the visible and the invisible, to fulfill his purposes. God sees you, even when the world does not. Their names, etched in history, call us to reflect. What are we doing with the role God has entrusted to us? True glory is not in being seen, but in living for God's honor. Embrace the unique calling he has for you, and remember, In God's economy, every life matters and every detail is precious. If this story has inspired you to reflect on God's unique calling for your life, don't let it stop here. Subscribe to our channel and share this message with others who need encouragement. Together, we can explore more hidden treasures in the Bible and discover how God's Word speaks to every aspect of our lives. Let's walk this journey of faith and purpose, because every step matters in His plan.